Welcome to this worship service of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation, Shelter Rock, Manhasset, New York. I'm Winterflower Robinson, a member of the congregation and worship associate. Ours is a congregation of people with different theological beliefs but shared values. For most among them, respect for the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Within the framework of our shared values, we covenant to respect each other's beliefs and spiritual practices. Each Sunday, we take a little time to consider together a theme or topic that connects us to our values so that we can live up to them more fully and deeper spiritual insight. In today's service, we consider finding balance together. Our special guest minister is Reverend Sana Saeed. Reverend Sana is a congregational life staff for the Central East region of the UUA. She was the president of Diverse Revolutionary Unitarian Universalist Multicultural Ministry, DRUM, a collective UU Black Indigenous people of color from 2019 to 2020. She also had 13 years experience working with youth development, religious and peace building, interfaith dialogue, leadership, and conflict resolutions. Now let's center ourselves as we enter into the time of worship. Worship with people of different beliefs who worship together as one faith.
Welcome, friends. Our words of invocation today are by Reverend Joan Javier Duval. Here is where you can lay it down. Lay down all that you have carried, the weight of the world that has rounded your back, leaving you aching and exhausted. Here is where healing begins, where burdens are set down alongside one another's, their magnitude does not seem as great. Here is where the door is thrown open and the light can lift away the shadows, and what was hidden can now be seen. Here is where you can rest, where nothing is expected but that you bring all of who you are into the presence of the holy and of this loving community. Let us worship together.
Each Sunday, we light the chalice of our religious heritage. We do this for our ancestors, who taught us through their various religious traditions and by their actions for justice and hope. We do this for our children, who are learning the traditions we teach and who learn from our actions than our words. We do this for ourselves to remind us of who we are and who we seek to become. This flame symbolizes a light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. Love is a doctrine of this congregation. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need. This we do affirm and covenant with each other.
Our story today is titled Beyond Every Door by Reverend Molly House Gordon. Who here knows the book The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? It's a story with a character in it named Lucy Penvency who discovers Narnia. Lucy looks for the perfect place to hide and opens up the door to a big wardrobe. She goes through the door and into the back of the wardrobe, and suddenly she's in a whole other world, a magical world with witches and fauns and talking beavers. Wouldn't it be cool if there was a magical world beyond every door? When Lucy opened the door to Narnia, it didn't look like anything special. It was just a boring door to a wardrobe full of clothes and coats, but across its threshold was magic. Lucy already had a foot in Narnia before she quite realized what was happening. Many of the thresholds in our lives are like this. We don't know that we're crossing into another world until we're already halfway there. The door of a church takes us down a pathway of growth we might never have expected. The door of the doctor's office suddenly opens out into life with a hard diagnosis. A restaurant door opens onto a first date and echoes forward into the relationship of a lifetime. A beloved person's door closes behind you and sends you out into the world heartbroken. The door to a library or a gym or a dance studio introduces you to a life passion you might not have otherwise discovered. We cross these thresholds every day of our lives, for good and for ill, in joy and sorrow, in bittersweet truth. Truly, even our front door is a great threshold, no matter how familiar the worlds within and without may be. Given our lives' reality of constant change, every day we open the same old door again, only to step into a world that is new since the day before. In this way, there is a new world behind every door, awaiting our discovery if we will only encounter it as such.
In our Unitarian Universalist congregation, we covenant to plant seeds of care and compassion. We hope to grow strong trees of justice. One of the ways we live into these actions each week is by taking up a collection for organizations which seek to bring help, hope, and healing to individuals, families, and communities in desperate need of greater justice, equity, and compassion.
This collection today is for the annual school supplies drive for the children of the village of Hempstead whose parents are incarcerated. The organizer of this drive is ABBA, Able Body of Believers Alliance, an organization founded and directed by Reverend Reginald Benjamin. While ABBA's major focus is job training for returning citizens and others who struggle to find employment, Reverend Benjamin believes in responding to the needs of the entire community. One vehicle for this response is the school supplies drive every summer. Your donations will help purchase needed educational items for these children, thereby supporting their efforts to grow in mind, body, and spirit. There are 3 ways you can donate: through our website at UUCSR.org, over text at 516-210-2528, or through PayPal. Please give as generously as you are able in this time of even greater need. Thank you for your compassion and your generosity. Together, may we continue to build a more just and joyful world.
My life goes on in endless song of earth's lamentation. I hear the real far off hymn that is a new creation. No storm can shake my inmost calm as to that rock I'm clinging. Since love is Lord of heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds and echoes in my soul. How can I keep from singing? No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love is Lord of heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me roar? I hear the truth declared. What though the darkness round me close? Songs in the night. Songs in the night. No storm can shake my inmost calm.
I invite you now into a moment of guided meditation. This meditation is by Reverend Nathan C. Walker, titled A Survival Meditation. I invite you to sit comfortably, whatever that may look for you. Close your eyes as you feel comfortable or find a spot to focus on. Feel free to turn your video off. Start to focus on your breath, breathing in and breathing out. As I speak, feel free to breathe along with me, dwelling on the words. Let us begin. Breathing in, I'm aware of my pain. Breathing out, I'm aware that I am not my pain. Breathing in, I'm aware of my past. Breathing out, I'm aware that I am not my past. Breathing in, I'm aware of my anger. Breathing out, I'm aware that I am not my anger. Breathing in, I am aware of my despair. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my despair. Breathing in, I am aware of peace. Breathing out, I am aware that I am worthy of peace. Breathing in, I am aware of love. Breathing out, I am aware that I am worthy of love. Breathing in, I am aware of joy. Breathing out, I am aware that I am an agent of joy. Breathing in, I am aware of hope. Breathing out, I am aware that I am an agent of hope. Breathing in, I am aware. Breathing out, I am aware.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in
Good morning. Thank you for the invitation to speak with your wonderful congregation again. The last time I preached here, I spoke about being a UU Muslim and how to be a welcoming congregation to interfaith families and multi-religious UUs. Since then, I crossed the threshold of many doors, including being ordained this May, and now working for the Central East region of the Unitarian Universalist Association, where I'm the primary contact supporting more than 50 congregations. My ordination was virtual due to the pandemic, and I began my work at the UUA in the middle of the pandemic last summer. I've been thinking recently about the ways the virtual work I do has been fulfilling and meaningful. But after 8 Zoom calls in one day, I felt like I hit a wall and I needed more balance in my week. In this ongoing time of pandemic, some of us may be filling up this time with more meetings, more virtual happy hours, virtual book discussions, and game times with family because of the desire of staying connected. As I was reflecting on what it means to find inner peace and balance in a time of pandemic, I found myself reflecting over 2 stories I want to share with you this morning. These stories are from the book Everyday Sacred, a powerful collection of spiritually reflective moments written by Sue Bender. The first story is titled Empty, and the second story is titled Overflowing Tea. After I read the first story, I'll share a reflection, and then I will move into the second story and again share another reflection. This first story is titled Empty. I was giving a talk one day to a group of quilters. Quilters love slides. I am awkward around machinery and don't have a friendly relationship with slides. By chance that morning, I opened the slide box and found nothing there, just the empty tray. I am empty, I said, stunned, startled by the truth of that statement. When I first read this story, it made me reflect on the places that I feel empty inside. It's an overwhelming time in many ways right now. There's this weird feeling of being overwhelmed, and yet at the same time not having certainty and knowing enough of what will happen just a few months out. Yet when some of us think about being empty, we may feel scared. Does it mean I don't have enough life experience? Does being empty feel like loneliness and having no friends? Those are all real and valid feelings. Feeling empty can be hard because it feels like nothingness. But when I think about emptiness these days, I find myself reflecting on the potential in being empty. As poet Jalaluddin Muhammad Rumi, or known just as Rumi to many, stated, "We come spinning out of nothingness, scattering stars like dust." To me, emptiness is not complete nothingness. It doesn't mean that nothing exists at all. Instead, what it could mean is that there is potential for something amazing, maybe a deeper experience. The Dalai Lama once said, "We can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves." To me, this is a call to find balance, process the things weighing us down internally, and explore the ways we can participate in the outer world. It is also a call to think about the impact we have if we don't take care of ourselves internally first. Could emptiness be an invitation into a time of rest, reflection, and pause? It also means that things may not exist the way our grasping self supposes they do. The grasping self being the part of us that wants control and wants to know what will happen next. And that makes sense to me these days because right now, Sometimes things do not sense the way I would like them to. I invite you to sit with our first story and reflect on what things came up in your mind. Maybe notice the places you may feel empty. What does emptiness feel like for you? While you reflect, I'm going to move into the second story by Sue Bender. This second story is titled Overflowing Tea. Over time, I've read 5 books that have 5 slightly different versions of the same story. I call it Overflowing Tea. The setting changes, but the cast of characters remains the same. There's always a wise Zen monk or hermit living in a remote place and an earnest student who has made a pilgrimage to see him traveling a long distance to find his teacher. The student arrives seeking wisdom. The serious student, his head filled with questions, is annoyed and becomes more and more frustrated when his teacher refuses to answer his questions. "Pour me a cup of tea," the monk eventually says, "and I will tell you when to stop." The dutiful student starts pouring the tea and pouring the tea. The bowl fills and he is horrified, watching as the tea finally spills out of the cup and over everything. Exasperated, the student finds the courage to speak. "Can't you see the cup is full? It can hold no more." "And so it is with you," the wise teacher answers. "Your mind is full of too many things. Only when you are empty will there be room for more knowledge to come in." "I am empty" no longer seemed a doomed prophecy. I would begin with an empty bowl. Where are the places that you feel like you're overflowing with way too much stuff? Maybe too much Zooming, too many emails, too many books left to read this summer, and things you want to do. Maybe there are too many hard things to deal with or too much time and not knowing what to do with it all. What in your life needs to be emptied right now? These stories make me reflect on the ways I bring myself into the presence of others. We're constantly asked to do things, and sometimes saying no to requests is part of that emptying process when you're too full. But also personally in life right now, I feel like there's a lot of change. Some of us may be feeling overwhelmed by changes at work, at fellowships and congregations. Yet it could be good to feel full. I met a chaplain once who described her metaphor for chaplaincy as being a teacup, like our story, that is overflowing with tea into a saucer. But she said she was overflowing with good things, and the saucer being a metaphor for the people she is taking care of. So she sees the tea spilling into the saucer as sharing some of the good things with her students and her patients. I also sit with what it means to feel empty inside, and how to think about it as room for growth and learning rather than a doomed prophecy. As Lao Tzu states, "Best be still, best be empty. In stillness and emptiness, we find where to abide. Talking and moving, we lose the place." So how am I finding balance, thinking of these ideas on emptiness and fullness? Well, I'm practicing drawing boundaries on how many Zoom calls I can take a day. My threshold is 4 so far. I have colleagues who share their threshold is 3 Zoom calls a day. I also like a good old-fashioned phone call most days, so I can walk outside while speaking. that helps me to focus and take care of my wellness at the same time, and I don't feel as exhausted by phone calls. I built in 3 10-minute moments of meditation or reflection to practice breathing and closing my eyes to let them rest throughout the day. I'm not saying to find inner peace means to be stagnant. Minot Judson Savage, a Unitarian minister, wrote in 1882, "Peace is not stagnation, nor simple aimless rest. 'Tis tireless movement onward, impelled by some high quest." Here's another way to think about it. When I did my first master's degree in conflict analysis and resolution, I had to take an introductory course for a semester titled Reflective Practice. In this course, we did endless role plays of conflict scenarios and dialogue work. We incorporated a practice of questioning as a mediator. For example, asking ourselves questions like, what feelings are coming up for me right now? Am I stereotyping one of the conflict parties? Am I being racist? Am I being biased? Where am I feeling triggered? Our implicit biases are hard to recognize when we operate in the outer world, and we all have them. I believe that in order to be the best I can be in moments of crisis or conflict, or in the presence of others, with moments of dialogue, with people with differing views than myself, I need to do the internal work to process the things that might impact my ability to be completely present and know the biases I carry and commit to working on them. We need to process the things that fill us up and empty the things that no longer serve us. My highest quest is for our collective liberation, where people are living in a beloved community, free from oppression, and know that I can't do that alone. It takes all of us. It takes all of us committing to do the internal work as well as the work outside with people in the streets to bring about true peace. I share this more importantly because as some congregations move to gathering in person again or doing dual services, it may be overwhelming. Some of us will be joyful seeing friends on Sundays in person, but some of us will be carrying trauma and grief into the space that we attend. Some of us will be triggered by the experience of this pandemic and other world events. It will be emotionally overwhelming, and there may be moments of conflict given the heightened emotions. As we plan together, tread with gentleness, mindfulness, and hold each other in tender care. As we move through today, friends, may we be mindful of the things that sustain us and soothe us. May we reflect on the way emptiness within may allow us to lean into new experiences and be aware of where we feel full. May we find moments of stillness, care, peace, and balance. In the next few days, months, years, may we have the courage to say, I'm too full, and be able to lighten the load by saying no to the things that don't serve you anymore. But may you say yes, most of all, may you say yes to rest. And may we be accompanied on this journey that ebbs and flows like a river, with a community that strengthens and comforts us towards our highest quest. May it be so. Amen.
Please stand.
Wendell Berry writes in a poem, "The Peace of Wild Things." When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the peace and presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world, and I am free. As we depart, may you find time to lay down and rest in the grace of the world, outdoors where the peace of the wild things inspire inner peace, stillness, and healing within your spirit. Go in peace, friends.
Now we extinguish the chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into all the world.